29 years? I've had HIV for 29 years. Wow.
Over 20-some years. I don't know when I got it, but I found out in '94.
My very first memory is I was sitting in a barber chair in San Francisco, and the barber was saying, wow, I had these night sweats last night. I had to change the sheets and don't know what that's about. And he was one of the first people that I knew who died.
My first memory of HIV AIDS was in the 70s, about 78, before anyone even knew what it was. One of the neighbors got sick one day, big, burly truck driver, and it was like hourly we were watching him just waste away. End of the week, he was gone.
I've compared it to the Holocaust because it came like a tsunami, and it was so overwhelming and so rapid. Each weekend I was officiating at a funeral, but in between there were multiple people who would die here in Austin or someone I knew somewhere else, and it was overwhelming, so you became sort of numb.
Not just one person that was sick, it was one after another, and it would be, we go to a ward to go visit friends, and it would be there would be new friends there that had just checked in. We go check on friends that had been there, that we saw yesterday. They weren't there with us anymore. They'd passed through the night.
We were frightened. There was a sudden, oh shit moment, where we realized that there was no escape. That we had all been doing the same thing, and likely this was going to get all of us.
I lost 35 friends in 2 years.
Somewhere I started a list, and these are all of the names and the years of people in my life who have died. There's 77. Michael Moletta, he was the barber. John Baskin. Bill Palmatier was the organist at our church. John McDaniel, Joe Alves. They're from all over the world, primarily here in Austin. 77.
As the epidemic unfolded, just about everybody I knew died. I was active in the bar scene at the time, being young, and it was the 70s and early 80s. And most of the guys that I had experiences with got sick, died. It was a Holocaust. And at the same time, you assume you're part of the Holocaust, even before it was verified. You change in the way that you relate to death and life when this is happening around you and to you. It's hard to describe how you change, and of course everyone handles it in whatever way they can, and there are different ways to respond.
I just shut down. I didn't want to meet people. Why would I be wasting my time meeting and making friends when they're just going to die on me? So for a number of years, just about a decade, I just stayed to myself. I shut down, I isolated myself because I wasn't going to be hurt again, not like that. I kept asking, why am I still here?
I don't think I felt a whole lot of anything at the time, just because I was kind of numbed out in my own, world, and I didn't really acknowledge it too much,
After I found out, a couple of weeks, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to deal with this. Living my life and ain't letting it bother me, because a lot of people I know, they let it bother them and stop living their life. They just give up.
I fell more in the group of people who managed to sort of silo our emotions, and I wouldn't say that I was unaffected. I just managed to handle it, and I think you would too, if you were in the same situation.
It's really affected my life in a huge way, It's not just like this little slither, Earning potential, I wasn't able to get my mind right or focused on anything because I always thought, you know, well, here, you know, this is the end, you know, I'm going to die, so why prepare for anything? So, so I think it affected all my relationships, you know, in that way, because I really didn't take any of those relationships as fair value, you know, as being, you know, anything that would really last.
At one point, AIDS was a nightmare in my life. I was losing all my friends. Over the years, and especially after my diagnosis, I have a whole different outlook. It's no longer something to fear, it's something to fight against. Life is worth fighting for.
Our generation was decimated, and so there are a lot fewer you'll find of gay men in their 60s, and now I'm 70.
You know, people who survive, there must be a reason for that. That I'm here for a purpose, to help others in some way, educate, enlighten. So there must be a reason why I'm still here.
I consider myself a survivor, and I would definitely encourage anybody else, live your life normal, no matter what your condition is. Because when you start stressing and worried about what other people think of you, what you got, how you, just live. You only get to live once, so live it out. And I definitely do.